Alright guys, I'm going to show you a cool tutorial which will be, let me show you, it's basically one of my latest defaults for Crying Blood as it is and featured in True Blood. And so this was actually my first attempt in doing Crying Blood and it came out pretty freaking awesome. So I'm going to show you this technique and hopefully I won't talk too much because this is my second attempt of making this video. The first one was like 25 minutes and I think it was just me trying to talk too much to you guys and blending too much. So there's gonna be parts of this video where I'm just gonna stop and fast forward it and then showing you guys what it looks like and in a way for you guys to have an idea. This way I won't have to do two parts for this video because it really is not necessary for it to be two parts. But anyway, I'm talking too much again. So here it goes. So I got an image where she's kind of like emotional, kind of like this one. And so I'm going to go right ahead. And I recommend of getting online samples of people trying to pull off the True Blood crying, or you could Google Jessica or Bill crying because they're pretty awesome in crying in this show. And so I'm going to go right ahead, just put this to the side, and I'm going to try to copy that into this. And this is the lasso tool. It's the third button thing, and it makes me just go right ahead into, because tears, they don't go straight down, they have this like movement. And so you want to look at your character's face and see how their cheekbones are and how you would imagine it for it to curve, especially with Jennifer's face. She has very big high cheekbones, and so I would imagine a tear kind of like rolling down, and then so that's how I would see it. So you have to just try your best and making it the realistic as you can, and kind of, let me just make it a little bit bigger here. And then the third button right here, you can delete a certain part of it, so it could look like two tiers form into one type of thing. It's all up to you how you want to do it. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more on this section right there, and then I go to the second eye. And basically it's not going to be to the perfection of how I would have done for a default, but I just want you guys to have an idea so that you guys can do your own thing. Because the most important thing I want to show you is the tool that I use for it to be realistically, for the default. So whatever, so you got that. Now I need you to go and make a new layer. And then what I do is I pick or select a color from my image. This way it can be kind of like realistically as much as I possibly can. Then select the the color, the brush, and then I just color it in. And you know, as a art major, I kind of have to always look at how images are lighted, because there's always going to be, you know, this part is darker, this is going to be the lightest of her face, so the blood will be darker on one side of the face than the other. So this side of the blood is going to be darker. Bottoms of the blood seems to be darker as well, so I'm just going to go darker with that. And might as well darken this part. And then next, make sure I'm in time schedule. Okay, good. And next thing would be the layer property, and this is gonna take a while. So if it takes too long for me to figure it out, I'm just gonna stop it and then I fast forward it. It's because like sometimes the color of blood likes to be a pain in the butt. So, because it to me it can't be too light or it can't be too dark. And after like color dodge, it kind of like have to wing it best you can. Sometimes you have to make two layers and combine it into one. It's something you have to always play around with. And I think this one might be it. Let me see, Control D to deselect. Yeah, I might have to do a second one. Keep that one as a top one. And let's go with a darker one for the bottom. I guess I kind of like that. Then with this one, I think with blood, it's like there's so many. You know, I want to make it as realistic as I can. And then I combine into one. And then the best part of making the blood look realistically is using the smudge tool. And that's going to be under the blur tool. Usually it's going to look like that in your tool. And so with the smudge, you want to make sure that you don't go all the way out like that. You can if you that's what you want to do. You know, sometimes blood likes to be a little bit smudgy, but you know, just a little bit is all you really need for certain areas of the, you know, the tears. You don't want to make it too, like I said, too smudgy looking, because tears, they're not hard like that on the edge. You know, they especially, you know, they're kind of like soft, kind of like the skin. You know, you want to match it as much as you can to the skin. And usually I like to go on the edge, pull out a little bit. Then when I'm done smudging, then I'll go back and add details and make the area of the eye darker, you know, stuff like that. And you can smudge as much as you want or a little, whatever is your preference for it to look as realistic as possible. And again, that's an idea of it, and you can edit it whatever makes you happy, but it looks way better. And then, with a PSD or an action, textures, the thing I recommend about PSD or action, make sure it's not something that will make the tears be a different color than red, because you don't want it to spend all this time and then a PSD will take that effect away. So it's kind of like you don't want that. So, do something that will be to your liking, but also something that will showcase your efforts into making your original character, to have the tears as it is on the show. And I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If any questions, email me, message me, and I hope you guys the best I can.